Okay, so we're good to go?
Yep.
We all did our interviews
Yep.
and our research stuff that we wanted?
Yep.
We got Aristotle,
Yep.
Euripides, Moliere,
Yep.
and Shakespeare, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna come up and do our interviews and see what we learned. Everyone's gonna take notes, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who wants- All right, the Aristotle group is next. Okay, go on up.
Wait, is it Aristotle?
Aristotle is up next.
Hi, Aristotle.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. I have a few questions. What were your political views?
Back in my day, way back there, I believed that the democracy was the strongest form of government.
And why was that?
Just because I wanted all people to think that they were equal rather than in a monarchy where one person rules above everyone else. It's not exactly fair to everyone.
Okay, and I realize that you're very old. Yeah, we shall say that. How old are you exactly?
Well, I was born in 384 BC, so doing the math, I am 2,399 years old.
Is that normal? Okay.
Keep up, sister.
Okay. Like, what did you study as a young child?
I studied writing and I studied in academic circles.
Okay. What was your belief upon educated people?
Educated people have a better place to serve in society rather than uneducated people.
Okay. How do you think, who do you think should rule? Either the middle, the lower, or high class?
Definitely middle class, because lower class, they'll just want revenge on higher class people for not getting as much, and higher class people, well, they can be selfish with their power.
Yeah, how did you die?
Of natural causes.
That's all you got? You didn't
I know, it's
But-
exciting.
died of natural causes, then how can you be 2,399?
Next question.
But
We're passing this question. All right, move on.
what was one of your most famous writings?
One of my most famous writings was on dreams.
Okay, and was Plato your best friend or something?
No, he was my educator when I was a child.
When did he die?
Plato died in 347 BC. It's very tragic.
Were you how was Plato? What did he have an impact on your life? How did he have an impact on your life?
He had an impact on my writings because we shared the same critique. It was a very clear mixture of his critique and my work.
So he influenced your writing?
Very much, yes.
I still have one more question. How are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm dead.
But are you a zombie or something?
I don't know. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my grave now.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye.
Hold on, before you go.
Does anybody have any more questions?
Oh, we have a
Yes.
question.
Plato was Aristotle's teacher, correct?
Yes, he was my educator.
Okay. And when was the exact date you were born again?
The exact date was 384 BC.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
That's an understatement.
Thank you, Aristotle.
Thank you.
All right, the Moliere group is up next. The French playwright.
Okay. Welcome to History Talk with Bob. Today we have a special guest. His name is Moliere. So please give a warm welcome to Moliere. Hurry up.
I'm 393 years old.
Okay, well, let's get started. Since you're pretty darn old, and you don't remember much things, when were you at least baptized?
I was baptized on January 15th of 1622.
All right. So, I've heard your past true love was named Madeline Bechart. How did she influence your theater life?
In 1643, Madeline and I formed a group in Paris. In 1643, called the Illustre Theatre. Then in 1645, we fled to Paris with our touring troupe of actors.
Okay, sounds interesting. How has the first comedy you created affected others?
The first comedy I created was called The Affected Young Ladies, which makes fun of the upper class woman. This play angered several important people for 14 years.
Jeez. Unfortunately, I heard from my surroundings that it didn't turn out so well with Madeline. So, who is this special lady you want to reveal?
Well, you see, Bob, I began to spread apart from Madeline and married my beautiful daughter named Armande.
Jeez, okay, I guess what you want, you really get it. Okay, so how many plays have you written in your career, and what are some famous ones?
I have written 33 plays in my theater career, including the Amphitryon in 1668, Don Juan in 1665, and the Sicilian in 1667.
Okay, so I've noticed that you have incorporated your mask in play. It seems odd, how come?
The actors wear masks as a metaphor for the masks to hide the actor's true identity or true selves. Also, actors wore the masks to define character type and perform slapstick gags called Lassie.
Okay. Okay, so one big part of your life was performing in Paris. Would you like to describe your adventure and what happened there?
Well, when I was in Paris, I performed in public theaters, or I performed in front of special invited guests only at the palace court.
Okay. So, in our audience, there's a fellow named Aristotle, I believe. How did he influence your life?
Aristotle influenced me by the tragedies that contain three unities that include time, place, and action.
So you're saying that he created these three unities? Yeah. Okay. So, I'm sorry to hear about the horrible death that fell upon you in February 17, 1673. How did that go down?
Well, my final years were filled with bad health and personal troubles. I died on stage during the Imaginary Invalid. Then afterwards, I began horribly, tragically dying of tuberculosis.
Well, I guess when we know our time is up. So, that was History Talk with Bob. Any questions?
What was the date of his death again?
1673.
Yes.
February.
February 17, 1673.
Any other questions for Moliere? No? Thank you, girls. Last group up, the Shakespeare group. Let's see what we know about the great William Shakespeare.
Hello, I'm Trinity from Historical Peeps News, and this is Shakespeare. Is it okay if I ask you some questions? Yes, indeed. When were you born? Sometime in 1564. You don't know the exact day? No, it was never recorded. Was it at the time of the Black Plague? Yes, it was. 1 out of every 5 people died, including 2 of my sisters. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Dear Shakespeare, when did you leave school? Around the age of 15. What did you learn at school back in those days? Boys like myself went to grammar school. We learned to read, speak, and write in Latin. We also had to memorize and perform stories from ancient history. Aren't you ancient history? Well, I am 451 years old. Interesting. Did you ever marry? Yes, I married a beautiful young woman named Anne Hathaway. She was the daughter of a local farmer. What year did you marry? I married in 1582. You don't know the exact date again? It's like my date of birth. It was never recorded. How was your family life? I don't remember much, but I do know that I had 3 children. Susanna, Judith, and what's the other one? Hamnet. Yes. They lived with my parents at first. They had a strange family life. I spent most of my time 100 miles away in London. Interesting. What did you do in London? I was an actor and a famous playwright. I was also a poet, an author, and a businessman. Fascinating. But when did you die? I died April 23rd of 1616. I was buried at the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford upon Avon. Thank you. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Trinity. And I'm Shakespeare. And this has been Historical Peeps News. Holla! Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shakespeare.